Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
Karmendriyani sanyamya,
ya aste manasa smaran,
ya aste manasa smaran,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
indriyartan vimudhatma,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
mithyachara sa uchyate,
yastvindriyani manasa,
yastvindriyani manasa,
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
niyamyarabhaterjuna,
karmendriyai karmayogam,
Karmendriyai karmayogam,
asakta savishishyate,
asakta savishishyate,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
niyatam kuru karmatvam,
karmajyayo hyakarmanaha,
karmajayo hyakarmanaha,
sharirayatra pichate,
sharirayatra pichate,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
yajñarthat karmanonyatra,
yajñartat karmanonyatra,
lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
tadartham karma kaunteya,
tadartham karma kaunteya,
mukta sangha samachara.
Muktasangah samachara.
Sahayajñā praja srishtva.
Sahayajñā praja srishtva.
Purovacha prajapatihi.
Purovacha prajapatihi.
Anena prasavishyadvam.
Anena prasavishyadvam.
Yeshavostvishta kamadhuk.
Yeshavostvishta kamadhuk.
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So last week we started this verse number 6. Now, as I mentioned to you, before going into this verse, that is, before going into the specific messages of this verse, just by reading the translation, we can see the kind of approach he's taking. What is the translation? One who sits, aste, means sitting. One who sits, restraining the organs of action. Karmendriyani sanyamya. But mentally thinks of the objects of senses. Manasa smaran indriyarthan. That deluded person, vimudhatma, is called a hypocrite, mithyachara. So it's a very powerful approach he's taking. He is emphatically making a statement, and it is loaded with a certain amount of harshness. I would say a lot of harshness. Now, in spirituality, a yogi never sees anything as right or wrong. It is a question of how you use it. Talking in a harsh way, putting pressure on someone, is it right or wrong? Now, we would generally say it is wrong. But let us say a person is doing something which is very dangerous for him. Let's say there are some sharp objects on the floor, and a person is allowing his child to play very near those sharp objects. There, you will tell that person in a very harsh way, assuming that that person is unable to understand what you're saying. The danger, listen, there are these sharp objects, don't allow your child to play there. To which he tells you, no, I don't curb the freedom of my child and all. That is a tamasic quality there. So in order to put across your point, you will put it in a very emphatic way, probably in a harsh way also. Don't you understand? I'm telling you, do this. If you have affection for that person. So, per se, talking in a harsh way, we may say it's not required, it's not right. But in certain circumstances, that is what will bring that awareness in the other person. Now, as a sadhak, why do we say don't be harsh? Always practice humility, practice gentleness, is because you are not at that level where you can objectively use these tools. The ego will come and take over. But for a yogi, any master who has conquered his ego, then everything in life becomes a tool with which he can serve others. Normally speaking, he will use gentle tools, but sometimes a hammer may be required, and that is why you find these great masters, they use such powerful words, harsh language in certain places that is aimed at hitting the tamasic ego of a person. See, when you go to a master, you go to him because you want your life to become better. So the master's goal will only be one thing: how to uplift the student. So sometimes he may use crude methods. Harsh means crudeness. So if you want to learn swimming, now one thing is to learn it in a gentle way. That is the usual approach. But supposing you're having a lot of fear, let us say you're hesitating too much, you're not wanting to take the plunge at all, you're satisfied with merely the theory part of it and discussing about it, then what will the coach do? He will kind of force you into the water. He may even push you, and then he may, he will have a watch. See, whenever he pushes you, he'll have a watch over you, how you are handling it. Invariably, you will first struggle, and then you will overcome the fear. You will overcome the spirit of the tendency to hesitate. So, according to the context, the tool of communication will vary for a master. Now, my request to all of you is, please don't use this message to justify your weakness. Supposing you are very harsh to everyone, don't go about saying, I am being harsh only for your benefit and all that. As a sadhak, this is not to be practiced. This is applicable only at a very high level. A master, when he is harsh to a student, he locates certain karmic blocks. He sees certain strong karmas which are not allowing the student to progress. So through the harshness, through the crude methods, sometimes he generates an energy flow. It is not about the words and all that, but the energy flow which is created, which goes and directly hits the karmic blocks, and it breaks it for the students. You can't take that and now start being harsh with your family members, because sometimes tamas can work like that. See, a tamasic mind will immediately be so happy hearing all this. Oh, so even harshness can be used in a productive way. So immediately you go and you're very harsh with your spouse, you're very harsh with your children, and when they ask you, why are you being so harsh? Your answer is, I'm only doing it for your benefit. Please don't do all that. As sadhaks, we should always be gentle. We should be very kind, loving. But the other side of it, how a master will operate, it's not only a question of when you go to a guru, See, this has a very deep significance. That is what I'll be giving you now in terms of life itself. Because when we talk of a guru, it is not restricted to the individual guru alone. We are talking of the Guru Shakti, the energy called Guru. And that Guru Shakti is present everywhere. So when a master uses such powerful language, it is symbolic of the Guru Shakti, which will guide you in various ways in life by giving you the suitable experiences which can push you to the next level. Every experience is actually trying to teach you something. The Guru Shakti is trying to teach you something in life through the various experiences. So when you are sattvic, certain kinds of experiences will be given to you. When you are rajasic, certain kinds of experiences, stressful experiences will be given to you. When you are tamasic, very harsh experiences will be given to you for you to learn the lessons. Whether it is the Guru as an individual or whether it is the Guru Shakti which is functioning in your life, this principle is applicable. Now, what is very relevant to your sadhana is how you react to these kinds of situations. First we'll take the individual guru, then we'll go to the life, to the total life itself. Now, let us say your guru is using some harsh method. Now, how will a tamasic person react? How will a rajasic person react? How will a sattvic person react? These are the three gunas which we saw in the previous verse. I explained a little bit there. Now, how will these gunas react? This kind of a study will help you tremendously in your sadhana, because you have all the three within you. Nobody can be 100% sattvic or 100% rajasic or 100% tamasic. It's a combination. So how will the tamas in you react? How will the rajas in you react? How will the sattva in you react? We will see that. And then we will get into the specific messages of this verse. Now, as I told you, this is not restricted only to the interaction with a personal guru, but it is generally with respect to life's experiences themselves. So when a guru is harsh, there is a message which he is trying to give. A tamasic person, he will react in two ways. The first thing, how he will react to that situation is, he will just keep quiet. He will be unreactive, as it were, like a stone. Because a tamasic person's ego will be very, very strong. That stubbornness will be there. The tendency of not wanting to change will be strong with respect to a tamasic person. That's a tamasic quality. So since the tamas in you does not want to change, it will remain unreactive. You know, in common parlance, we say, no, we say thick-skinned, we say. Thick-skinned means even if you poke, the person will not react. It's a symbolic way of saying. That is how the tamas will behave. The ego will force the tamasic mind to not to give value to what the Guru is trying to convey. Slight it off. And if at all the tamasic person reacts, he or she will only justify, give various reasons as to why this is not applicable to him, or why he cannot change, why he does not want to change. Any reason which you give for not wanting to change for the better, understand it is tamas. So this is with respect to an individual guru. Now, not only that, with respect to life itself, when you face challenges, when you face difficult situations, how will a tamasic person function? He will not react. He will not act also. That is why this word aste is a very powerful word. Sitting, he uses the word sitting. When we come there, we'll see. And not only that, if you go and ask him, listen, this emergency has come, why aren't you acting, why aren't you doing what you ought to do, he will just justify, he will give various reasons. Like there is a person, he always keeps his room very, very unclean. If you go to his room, everything will be in a very disorganized way, and he never cleans the room on a daily basis, and all the clothes will be lying here and there. And if any dirt is there, instead of cleaning it, he always used to take a towel and cover that dirt. You will find a lot of towels, like small moles, in his room. And amidst all that, very happily he'll be lying down and sleeping. If you enter his room, you will not feel comfortable. How is he sleeping, you may wonder, with so much of chaos around. Now, what is interesting is, when his friends and family members, they used to tell him, see, there's so much of dirt, why don't you clean it and all that, he used to give some reason or other. He used to even talk high philosophy. Lying down there, he'll say, why do you want me to clean all this? See, the problem is not with me, the problem is with you. You are seeing it as dirt. And then he used to ask this question, what is dirt? Dirt is nothing but misplaced matter. See, if it is in the dustbin, you're fine with it. Now, when it is outside, you're calling it dirt. So, I would suggest that you train your mind to see everything equally. So, he used to keep philosophizing like this. Actually, everyone around him, his family members, all of them used to get so agitated because of his behavior, because he never used to do any duties. Sometimes he never have a bath the whole day. And if somebody comes and asks him, again he'll give a philosophy like this. All these are examples of a tamasic mind. This is how a tamasic mind will react. So, number one, you will be unreactive. A tamasic person will be unreactive. And number two, if at all he or she reacts, it will only be justifications why this is not being done. And when they come in contact with this higher wisdom, they will pick those areas, those portions of this philosophy which they can use for justifying their weaknesses. Like he said, no, dirt is nothing but misplaced matter, and Actually, if you write down whatever philosophy he gives, that will become like another Gita, They say, it's like devil quoting the scriptures. It's like that. So a person eats non-vegetarian food. Now, see, nobody is to say who is to eat what, but I have seen many people justifying. After all, I am trying to maintain the ecological system in the world. Plants are also living beings. This is nothing but the animal. What is the difference between an animal and a plant? A little more consciousness, that's all. So one person was telling me this. Then I asked him, so would you accept cannibalism, eating human flesh? He said, no, that is very much wrong. Why? If you go and ask a cannibal, his philosophy will be, what is the difference between an animal and a human being? A little more consciousness only. So I will eat human beings. You should accept that also. See, if you're doing something, the moment you start justifying, there is no chance of changing. The fact of the matter is, just for your taste starts with the beginning of the tongue and ends here. Just for a few seconds pleasure. You play a party to killing a living being. Now, the conscience slowly, initially the conscience is very active. Slowly, when you repeat an action several times, then the conscience will become submerged. So always remember, whenever you are unreactive in life, and when you start justifying your weaknesses, it means the tamas in you is very much active. See, this verse is coming just after he mentioned about the gunas. So using the yogic approach, we can see what kind of approach he is taking in this verse. So how will the gunas react? This is very, very useful. These tips are very useful for any sadhak. Now, the same situation, how will a rajasic person react? Supposing, let us say, a guru is using anger as a tool, harshness. Now, a rajasic person will get disturbed, will become stressed. The moment he faces any kind of harsh situation, the stress factor will start increasing. He or she will start getting worked up. It means you have started reacting, but that reaction is not positive, but some reaction is there. That is a higher state than tamas. Reacting in a negative way is better than not reacting at all. See, don't confuse being in an unreactive way with sattva. That is a very high state. So a rajasic person becomes very affected. So supposing a guru points out a mistake, a rajasic student will immediately get affected. So whenever your mind gets affected, you will become very highly stressed. And when you are stressed, you will not be able to act properly. So a rajasic person will want to correct himself. He will want to change, but he will not be able to act in an optimum way. Whatever corrective measures he takes will not be so effective. So a rajasic person will genuinely put an effort. but he'll become very result oriented because of the stress, So that is how the ego makes the Rajasic mind function. It again puts a block. So it is not only with respect to the individual teacher, in life itself, when a harsh situation is faced, a Rajasic person becomes very highly stressed. And when your stress keeps on increasing, your action will become impaired. Your intellect will get confused. The clarity will go away. That is why in the corporate scenario, where they always ask for tips. When I have these corporate transformation programs, they ask, sir, can you give some tips for crisis management? Because many of them are so Rajasic, very active and dynamic, but at the same time highly stressful. So they say we are acting, and suddenly when a crisis comes, our mind becomes so agitated, stressed. So what do we do at that time? This is a very common question which is asked. So all that comes from a Rajasic mind. So that is better than tamas, but that is not the ideal way of functioning. Usually, a guru will not be harsh with a Rajasic person, because that is not what he or she requires. He will actually be very soft, extra soft. Sometimes even to the level of pampering a little bit. Because what a Rajasic mind requires is mental calmness. Now, when it comes to a Sattvic person, how will a Sattvic person react? I mentioned to you in brief last time, when a guru is harsh, a Sattvic student will take it as a prasad, a gift. Because a Sattvic person has clarity. He clearly knows that the motive of the guru is only my upliftment, nothing else. It may look contradictory, but there is actually no contradiction. A true guru is one who has total unconditional love. So let him use any method. Sometimes he may give simple medicine, sometimes he may put an injection that's harsh, Sometimes he may perform an operation. All these things, these methods are really are not important. What is important is the bhavana, the motive. So a Sattvic student connects himself or herself with the higher aspect of the guru. So he clearly feels the infinite love and compassion of the guru. So he takes it as a prasad, as a gift, because that is going to help him grow. It is not only with respect to the individual teacher. In life itself, whenever any challenging situation comes, a Sattvic person takes it as an opportunity to grow. Let me learn the lesson, let me become more strong, and let me grow with this. He will not be unreactive and inactive. He will not get stressed and get buckled down, but he will rise with the challenge. That is the Sattvic approach. So the yogic approach is a Sattvic approach. So as a sadhak, you need to locate your tamas, rajas and sattva. Now I have given you in terms of reactions, So what is the difference between a tamasic person and a sattvic person? Both will look calm externally, but actually a tamasic person is not really calm. There are seeds of agitation. He has just covered them up. And a tamasic person will not do what he has to do. He will shirk the duties. Whereas a sattvic person will be truly, truly calm from within. and his calmness will inspire him, will support him to act in a better way and fulfill whatever his duties are. That is a very big difference between a tamasic person and a sattvic person. Because usually what happens is, when we talk about sattva, whenever he talks of being calm, being unaffected, and all these, people mistake it for tamas. So you need to penetrate and absorb these messages. Only then you will be able to do a proper self-analysis of yourself. See, as a sadhak, as an aspiring yogi, one of the most effective tools which you have is self-analysis. Actually, if you want me to explain, to define Jnana Yoga in simple terms, Jnana Yoga is nothing but self-analysis. It is not about how much of jnana or knowledge which you gain from the books or the scriptures that matter, but how much of knowledge you are having about yourself. And a person who follows Jnana Yoga is constantly reflecting. He is doing this process of self-analysis and keeps on correcting himself for the better. He does see, when you see a negativity within, you should not immediately lose your spirit, or you should not get into self-pity and all that. You should immediately, in a calm way, go about correcting yourself. See, supposing there is a mirror and you go and stand in front of a mirror. You see some black stain here, some kind of dirt on your face. Now, what will you do? You will immediately go, take some water and you will clean it. As simple as that. What will a tamasic person do? He will try to cover it up. He will say there is no dirt, nothing is there. How will a rajasic person react? Oh, this dirt is there. Now, what will I do? And he will become so stressed. So, both these approaches are not so effective. Whenever you see some dirt, whenever you see some negativity, get into the process of correcting it. I am talking of from within you. Even externally, wherever you can, you should do it. But you should do it in a calm way, not in an agitated way. Both a rajasic person and a tamasic person, rajasic person and a sattvic person will act. One will act with a lot of agitations, whereas a sattvic person will act in a calm way. That's the only difference. So, this approach which he has taken in this verse, it is not only in this verse. See, here he is using such strong words like Vimud Atma, a deluded person, Mithyaachara, hypocrite and all that. And later on, in one of the verses, he will be talking about the tamas, again tamas, rajas, sattva. As I told you, the various dimensions of the gunas will be covered in detail as we go along. So when it comes to yajna, that is how you should function in a selfless way in life and all that, we'll be seeing that. Now, when it comes to describing a tamasic person, he says a person who eats without producing is a stena. Stena means is a thief. Eats without producing means one who wants to enjoy everything in life but does not want to contribute. See, as a human being, you've taken this birth. You have so much of capacity within you. Now, instead of using all that, If you are just tamasic, you don't want to contribute anything in life, but you want all the benefits. He says such a person is a thief. Very strong words, tenaha. Of course, how a rajasic person functions and how sattvic, all that also he gives so beautifully. But when it comes to tamas alone, he, as I told you last week, he literally takes a hammer and starts hitting. In many places, you will find that Lord Krishna takes this approach. It is not only in the Bhagavad Gita. If you go to the Upanishads, if you go to any scripture, you will find there would be various portions where they will take this kind of a powerful, emphatic, harsh approach. So whenever you come across that, immediately the tamas in you is waiting to run away. It will not want to stay put with this. When we were doing the chapter 2 earlier, towards the end, in one verse I had explained about the difference between the Rakshasas, Asuras and gods. That is not as an external principle, but as a sadhana principle. The Rakshasas means demons. Rakshasas, Asuras are two kinds of demons, and then you have gods, divine beings. Now all these are qualities within you only. So what are the Asuric qualities? What are the Rakshasic qualities? What are the divine qualities? I touched upon that. Now, and I did give a warning there, because when you come across such powerful statements and such powerful principles, now when your mind starts reacting to it, the tamas in you will force you to stop watching the lectures, because it will not want you to change. The mind will immediately react and say, oh, why should I change? The tamasic mind. So whenever such harsh portions come in the Bhagavad Gita, now you should be careful, because the ego is waiting to influence the tamasic mind to pass this off, to run away. You may give some reason or other, saying that, oh, I am busy, I am this, I am that, and you will want to skip these portions. But use the sattvic element in you to stay put with your sadhana. As I told you, you have all these three. You have tamas, you have rajas, and you have sattva. Using whatever sattva you have, with the help of the Guru Shakti, you should slowly overcome the tamas, move to rajas, and then overcome rajas and convert it into sattva. That is the way. So today you take up this small homework. Make a self-analysis of you in terms of how you are reacting to various challenges in life. How you are reacting to your Guru when he is trying to correct you. And it's not only with respect to a Guru, but even other challenges in life. What is your reaction? It will become very interesting. It's like a game, I want you to take it as a game, this game of self-development and self-purification. Don't become too serious about it, and that will cause a lot of stress. Take it up as a game. Fix percentages. How much of a tamasic reaction am I giving? When something is not okay, when there is a negativity, do I act immediately? Or am I just sitting and just simply looking at it without doing anything? Am I being unreactive? How fast am I willing to change? A tamasic person will take a long time. Some people have this habit, anything you tell them, they will say, just give me 1 day's time, just give me 2 days time, I want to absorb it. That is the layer of tamas which kind of becomes a habit after a while, where you lose your spontaneity. If you find that, now apply this wisdom and overcome that. See, all these tips are being given to you only with one motive, to help you to overcome your own deficiencies and slowly merge with the infinite. Because all your spiritual powers, you have infinite powers within you. All those spiritual powers are lying dormant because of these negativities only. So when you start applying this, your inner powers will start growing. So make a self-analysis in terms of your reactions to challenges in life. Your reaction to your guru when he is trying to correct you. That area is very easy for you to see. And then you can apply it in all the other areas of life also. Whenever a challenge comes, am I being unreactive, or am I getting overworked up? Am I getting overstressed? When I see a negativity within me, do I start justifying it, or am I getting so stressed about it? Or am I acting in a calm way, and am I doing my sadhana to release that, and am I working towards self-purification? See, the greatest tool which a sattvic person has is sadhana. Self-analysis is a part of sadhana only. So whenever you see any negativity, whether it is outside or inside, a sattvic person does sadhana and releases all the negative energy blocks and makes it very conducive for the external situation to change and also for the internal change to happen. So do that homework today. As I told you, the gunas, the principle of gunas is actually very deep. It is intrinsically woven in your life. You cannot separate life and the gunas, the 3 gunas. And in every aspect of life, in every aspect of your personality, these 3 gunas are functioning. So whether it is reaction or response, or how you are acting, how you are speaking, how you are sitting, how you are eating, how you are sleeping, in everything these gunas are intertwined, we can say, with your life. So as and when the context comes, I am giving you these tips so that you keep on absorbing them. Okay, so these are the 3 types of reactions which we can see. So how are you going to react to this verse? See, that's a choice, because you have all the 3 gunas and you have all the 3 possibilities within you. Are you going to skip these messages and just continue with your life? Then it means the tamas, you've fallen a trap to the tamas. Are you going to get so stressed about it? Oh, I have these things, what is wrong with me? Then the rajas in you become a trap to the rajas. Are you going to take this positively and say, wow, this is another wonderful verse. So many messages, so many tools are being given with which I can change for the better. I can purify myself. I can do good to myself and to my family and the whole of humanity. If that is how you approach, then you are using the sattva in you. Choice is yours. A guru will never come and interfere there. In spite of all this, if you choose tamas, the guru will just go his way. What else can he do? when Krishna went as a peacemaker to Duryodhana's camp before the war, he tried to avoid the war, So he went to Hastinapura and spoke to Duryodhana. He said, Duryodhana, if you join hands with Pandavas, you will only benefit. He gave him so many offers. He said, Duryodhana, you continue to be the king. Yudhishthira will agree, no problem. But why do you want to fight? They also have the right to live. They have a right to this property. Give them their share. If you don't want to give them half the share, at least give them 5 villages. But Duryodhana said, no. I will not give them even a little bit of space even to bury themselves when they die. See, this is total tamas, So opportunities are constantly being provided to us. But the tamas in us does not allow us to use those opportunities. So Krishna tells him, Duryodhana, you're going in the path of destruction. Because of this, many, many lives will go. And you will definitely lose this battle. Because the Pandava camp has the strength of righteousness. The same advice Bhishma also gives Duryodhana, Drona gives, Vidura gives. Vidura was a very wise person. He says, when Krishna is on the other side, how can you even dream of winning Duryodhana? Krishna is always on the side of righteousness. But he does not listen. It's a very, very deep lesson we learn from these stories. So when we are studying these verses, you should also be alert, because the tamas in you will force you to skip all the deep points which can completely change you. The rajas in you will try to get you into a stressful mode so that you can be inconsistent in your sadhana. But the sattva in you will want you to change, will encourage you to keep marching forward in this path of self-purification right up to self-realization. So as a sadhak, now become aware of these forces which are acting within you and keep on promoting the sattva. As we go along, more and more tips will be given. The entire Karma Yoga chapter is about that only. Not only Karma Yoga chapter, every chapter will be giving you the higher principles of life in different ways. So through this yogic approach, when we are going so deep, and if you are dedicated, you will have to change. Tremendous transformation will take place. So what is he saying in this verse? Yaha aste, one who sits, restraining the organs of action, but mentally thinks of the objects of senses. That deluded person is called a hypocrite. So first of all, he says one who sits. Now sitting here, aste, is symbolic of tamas. He starts off with that only. Karmendriyani sayyamya ya aste, one who sits. One who is an escapist. If you want to do the sadhana of Karma Yoga, you need to overcome this tendency of the mind to escape from situations, escape from challenges. It is a very dominant force, dominant weakness in everyone. A great warrior like Arjuna himself succumbed to this tamas, succumbed to this weakness of escapism. He wanted to escape from the battlefield and run away. He was a warrior, that was his duty. It was a righteous cause. And Lord Krishna himself was next to him. What more do you require? Yet, he wanted to escape. So, sitting here, aste, is symbolic of escapism. The tendency of escapism within you. See, it is very interesting. This word sit, he is actually deviating from the usual style of the scriptures to emphasize a point. Usually, sitting is used to denote sattva. Whenever they want to denote tamas, they use the word sleep, nidra, or lying down. That is all used for denoting tamas. When they want to talk about rajas, they talk about action or standing. That is rajas. Whenever they want to talk about sattva, they talk of sitting. It is neither lying down nor standing. It is in the middle, sitting. This is the usual style. See, even the Upanishads. Upanishad means near, below, sit. See, the word Upanishad itself is so powerful. A student should be near the teacher. He is not talking of mere physical closeness. He is talking of being attuned to the teacher. Upa means a student should be fully attuned to the teacher, to the master. Upani means the student should be below the master, means humble. Because unless you are humble, you cannot receive the higher Shakti. And then Shad. Shad means sit. A student should be sattvic, meditative, should want to change, should constantly strive to do sadhana. All that is symbolic of sitting. So that is why they said Upanishad. This is the usual style which the Shastras follow. But in this particular verse, he is deviating from that style and he is using the word sit to denote tamas, escapism. That is why in the yogic approach it is said, never be caught up with words. Always understand the principle. Sometimes the words will be used in different contexts to denote different things. If you get caught up with words, I told you, the difference between unidimensional and multidimensional approach. So sometimes they may use the same word to mean opposite things according to the context. So if you are caught up with words, then you will not get the real message. So in one of the previous verses, he used the word sitting in chapter 2 also to mean sattva, a very highly yogic state. Neither lazy, sleepy, nor stressed and restless in action, but sitting in a peaceful way. But here he uses the word sit to mean escapism. It's not, there is a reason behind that. Because, see, when he is talking of one who sits restraining the organs of action but mentally thinks about the objects, he is talking of a combination of tamas and rajas. At the physical level he is sitting, he is not acting, it is tamas. But at the mental level he is in a rajasic state. He is thinking about the objects. He uses the word manasa smaran. Means he is constantly thinking about the world, about the sense objects. So physically he is in a state of tamas, but mentally he is in a state of agitation, stress, rajas. That is why he is using the word sit. I mean, not the conventional word. He is not talking about pure tamas here. It's a combination of tamas and rajas. It's very, very interesting. Number one, where as we go into the verse further, what he means by mentally thinking, manasa smaran, is actually very interesting. That gives a lot of messages for us. See, this is how our personality functions. You put yourself in this position, you will understand what he's saying. This is the yogic approach. Now, another reason why he is using the word sit to denote tamas, he uses the conventional word which they use in the scriptures for sattva to denote tamas. The deeper message there is tamas and sattva look alike externally. That is the greatest danger. See, supposing you have two doors, one door to hell, another door to heaven. But both the doors are looking exactly alike in terms of color, in terms of beauty. Then what will you do? You need to have tremendous clarity to know which door will open to heaven, and you'll have to open that and enter. Otherwise, invariably, you will confuse hell, the door or to leading to hell, with the door leading to heaven. That is what is happening in life. Why is it that a person chooses tamas when that is so destructive? It is because tamas mimics sattva. Externally, they both are same. So he uses the word sitting, aste, means one who sits. That is a very powerful message. The tamas in you will try to mimic sattva. When you are not developed, the tamasic ego will come and make you believe that everything is fine and I am at a very high level. That is what happened to all the asuras, the demons. If you read the Puranas, they did some tapas, some austerities. They got some powers. Immediately the tamasic ego became active. And then they started saying, oh, I am only God. Hiranyakashipu said, I am God. Nobody should worship Lord Vishnu. You should worship me. It's very deeply symbolic. There's a very deep message there. The tamasic ego in you tries to mimic sattva. The Puranas are loaded with such incidents. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the story of Lord Krishna, there is a story where a person says, I am only the avatar of Lord Narayana. I am only the true Krishna. And he creates two artificial hands with a shank and a chakra. And he started telling people, you all should worship me. And there were many people who were gullible and they believed that. And then the incident is that Lord Krishna went and challenged him, and they fought, and Krishna defeated him, he killed him. What does this story signify? That happens even today. Non-spiritual people put on a garb of spirituality. Real spiritual people who are simple, who are who have that high level of purity, they are not so well known because they don't market themselves. There is no show. It's just they are very simple people. Simplicity is a hallmark of spirituality. When he uses the word mithyachara, hypocrite, it is the opposite of this. So, when you are having tamas and when you are trying to overcome the tamas, this is a very important point which you need to note. What is the block which you will face when you are trying to overcome tamas? This is the block. The tamas will try to mimic sattva. So you will lose your clarity, you will get confused. That's why he uses the word sit, which is usually used for sattva to mean tamas here. So applying the yogic approach, we get the deeper message. It's a very deep message for all the sadhaks. Every tamasic quality which you have will try to mimic sattva. When you don't want to do your duties, when you want to shirk your duties, immediately it will mimic sattva and say, what is there in life? After all, one day all of us have to go. Some philosophy. So whenever you are using philosophy to justify a tamasic quality, understand the tamas is trying to mimic sattva. A person who drinks, he says, oh, I am trying to exhaust my vasanas, I am trying to exhaust whatever negativity which I have by experiencing. Remember, the tamas is trying to mimic sattva. When you don't want to change, you say, why should I change? Changelessness is the principle of life. If I change and become someone, then I am not happy with myself. I accept myself fully. All this philosophy, when you start using to avoid change, remember, tamas is trying to mimic sattva. It's a very, very deep-rooted weakness. And when you try to overcome that, a lot of blocks will come. This is one very important block which every sadhak will have to overcome. In the Puranic stories, it is always said, whenever the rishis used to perform yajna, it is all symbolic of sadhana. The demons will come and try to disturb that yajna, whatever activity which they are trying to do. That is symbolic of what is happening within you. When you are trying to do this yajna, jnana yajna, when you are trying to burn up the negativities within you. See, what is a yajna? You light a fire and then you put ahuti, offerings, and it's a very divine activity. That is what you're doing when you're doing sadhana. Whenever you're doing yoga sankirtan sadhana, the divine fire within you is burning up all the negativity. When that happens, the demons within you will try to stop that activity, will try to pull you away from your sadhana. And how does the tamas in you try to pull you away from your sadhana? Not directly, but it uses an indirect approach. It tries to mimic sattva and it makes you talk high philosophy and all that. The net result, if you fall for it, the net result is you will stop your sadhana. So you have to be very, very careful. Aste, sit. It can be sattvic, it can be tamasic also. So as a sadhak, develop this clarity first. That's why they say the spiritual path is like walking on a razor's edge. One slip here, one slip there, you will start bleeding. Why do they say that a guru, they don't say a guru is important, they say a guru is necessary to grow. Because when you do, let us say, external research, like you're doing PhD, there also usually they go do it under a guide. But you can, even without a guide, I know people who do a lot of external research, but when it comes to internal research, it is almost impossible. It's not only a question of whether it is possible or impossible. If you take a wrong step unnecessarily, now that can cause a lot of damage. That is why they say, without a guru, in all the scriptures they say that in the yogic text, without a guru, your sadhana will not be fruitful. Without your guru's grace. Why do they say that? Because of this danger. The tamas will mimic the sattva. So Ravana, when he went to capture Sita, now Lakshmana had drawn a circle around with his bow. That is called Lakshmana Rekha. And he told Sita not to step out of that. That was a protective layer. When Ravana tried to enter the hut where they were staying, he was unable to, because that protective layer, it generated fire and it drove away Ravana. Now Ravana wondered how to now kidnap Sita, how to capture her. I'm unable to enter. The only way is to make Sita come out. So if I go as a demon, as a Rakshasa, now she will not come out. So what did he do? He put on a dress of a sannyasi. He wore, he dressed like a sage. He wore the dress of a sage and with a beard, and he put all the marks as if he was a very sattvic person, And he went and asked for alms. And when Sita came, he said, see, you should not stand inside and give to a saint. You come out and give. She hesitated for a second. Then he said, after all, I am a sannyasi. Tamas mimicking sattva. That's what you need to notice. The negative person coming in the guise of a saint. It's so symbolic. So when you take the yogic approach and see how it's applicable to your sadhana, that is how the negativities within you function. They come in the garb of sattvas. Tamas in you always comes in the garb of sattva. And Sita fell a prey to that. She thought, oh, he is a great hermit. So he is not going to harm me. So let me go out and give him alms. So she went out and she was captured. She became a captive. He caught hold of her and went away. So if you lose that clarity even for a split second, you will become a captive of Ravana within you. Ravana had 10 heads. 10 heads represents the 10 sense organs. He is talking about the organs of action here. Those are 5 sense organs. And then the objects of senses. There the senses mean the 5 organs of perception, the 10 sense organs. That is what Ravana represents within you. Sita is you, the individual. Today you have become a captive of Ravana. Why? Because you crossed that Lakshman Rekha, the discipline. Why did you cross that? Because you never knew it was Ravana. See, if we know something is negative, why would we get into that? If we know there is a pit, we will avoid it, no? Even though it is a pit, it is a door to hell, it projects as if it is a door to heaven. And that is why we fall a prey. And then what did Sita do once she became a captive of Ravana? She refused to indulge. Instead, she was in Ashokavana doing sadhana, doing tapas. So even if you are a captive of your senses, no problem. Do the sadhana on a daily basis. That will protect you. Do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. And when you keep on doing that, the redemption will happen. The transformation will happen. Okay, so you think about this. This word aste is so powerful. It actually if you absorb whatever has been given here through this word aste, now it will help you so much in overcoming one of the most difficult blocks to overcome, which is tamas mimicking a sattva. Every tamasic quality which you have, you will always have a philosophy backing it. Why are you not keeping your desk clean? Oh, because of this. Why are you not doing this? Because of this reasons. And those reasons will all be very noble. Sometimes you want to consult your guru for something, but the tamas in you will make you hesitate. Immediately you give a reason. Oh, my guru will be so busy. No, why should I disturb him? It's the tamas. It's your duty to ask. Now, sometimes he may give time, he may meet also, or he may talk, or he may give you a message in a subtle way also, or through the discourses. Some way he will guide. Sometimes he may not say anything, he may just straight away give the healing energy and your problem will get dissolved. But it's your duty to ask. But what prevents you from doing that? It is again tamas, and that mimics sattva. It comes in the garb of sattva. So the real problem which you face as a sadhak is not your negativities. If there are negativities, you can easily overcome them. The real problem is when the negativities come in the mask of positive qualities. When you start justifying them using the higher philosophy, that is the real block. So right at the outset, when he is giving the Karma Yoga principles in the early verses itself, he wants you to overcome that. So one thing is to overcome tamas. Now he is giving you subtle principles of what are the blocks which you will face while trying to overcome tamas and how can you resolve them. That is even more important. Okay, so you think about this. See, some very powerful principles are being given to you. Principles related to sadhana, principles related to self-transformation. Now, it is up to you to absorb these principles and start putting them to practice. We will stop with that, and in the coming sessions we will go into more and more depth. As I told you, these verses are going to be so powerful because we are using the yogic approach to unravel the messages. And if you just follow the flow, the energy flow, sometimes it may not be so pleasant. Because when you're wanting to clean yourself up, it may not be so pleasant. But the end result will be total transformation. The choice is yours. Okay? So with this, we will do the meditation now. And after the meditation is over, I have some very important announcements about the coming programs. So first we'll complete the Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Breathe in a deep way. With every breath, I am getting into a state of total relaxation. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. I am not this body. I am not this mind. I am not this intellect. I am that supreme, infinite self. From this moment onwards, I choose to overcome my tamas and progress in this sacred path of self-purification. I have infinite powers within me. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today we had a very powerful session in terms of being an eye-opener, in terms of getting to know ourselves better. When you begin to see the forces of the gunas within you, you're taking the first step towards gaining mastery over the gunas. And when you start gaining mastery over the gunas, you will start creating a positive life for yourself. Otherwise, you will be a victim of circumstances. That is why we are taking so much of pain. Even the word pain is not correct, because this is so pleasurable, but we are putting so much of efforts in pausing and going into the depth of each and every aspect of these verses. Because remember, the aim of these Sunday sessions is not to merely give you information, but it is to create a transformation. Okay. So now with regards to the events which are going to happen in the this coming month, few announcements are there. The first announcement is next week, that is the 16th of April, Sunday. As you know, we are going to have the grand launch of MAHAGANAPATHI DHYANA. For the first time, the deeper secrets of Ganapati Dhyana, the energy of success, the energy of abundance, energy of achievement, the yogic secrets are going to be revealed through this Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. So that day we are going to have a very powerful healing session, meditation. The timing is from 10 a.m. to 12:30 in the morning. We are having it in the Bharti Vidya Bhavan auditorium in Chennai. I think all those details are there in the website. You can get them. So we will not be having the usual Sunday discourses at 7 a.m. next week. Instead, we will be having this. So this is an opportunity for you to receive that energy and get healed. It'll be very useful in removing the various blocks which you face when you try to achieve your goals. So we'll be starting that process, the release. As I told you, why I always say grand release is because this Yoga Sankirtan is such a grand sadhana, the highest sadhana, and those secrets are being revealed, So that is why we say grand. So bring your friends, your relatives, whomever you want to get introduced to this. It's a great opportunity because they will receive a lot of healing. Sadhaks, definitely, you will be receiving much more because you're already into it. And not only that, that will also be a preparation to the empowerment, Yoga Sankirtan empowerment, which is from 24th. For 6 days we are going to have that. Those details have also been given. So the preparation has already started. Every Sunday during the meditation, the preparation has been started, and the preparatory healing, that is the healing required for you to receive the blast of energy during that empowerment, that process also has already been started for the sadhaks who have registered. As I told you, unless you register and commit yourself, there is no point in giving this preparatory healing. It is always an exchange of energy. You should have that commitment. So on 16th, the release of the MAHAGANAPATHI Dhyana, and then 24th, from 24th to 29th, the Yoga Sankirtan Empowerment, wherein for the first time the empowerment for MAHAGANAPATHI Dhyana will be given. So difference between the 16th event and the empowerment is, in the 16th it will be a healing session. It will be a very, very deep experience. During the empowerment course, the actual transfer of energy and the Diksha will be given. Okay, so that is the difference. For sadhaks who are living in different countries, the telecast of this will be done online the next day, that is on 17th. The time and all that is given in the website, so you can get all those details from there. So you can make use of that and you can receive the healing energy. And what you all can do is, if you can write down your goals and then come for the session, it will be even more beneficial for you, because your energies will become more focused. Apart from this, we are also in the process of creating some energy cards for the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana. So I am specially energizing these cards for sadhana. So hopefully they should be available before the event. So once those are available, you can get them. How to use them and all that I'll say, because when you use these energized cards, that will create a tremendous flow of energy. It will be so useful for your sadhana. Okay, so those details also will be sent to you once they are ready. It's not about readying the external, making the external cards ready, but the energizing process is what takes a lot of time. Okay, so subsequent, that is 23rd Sunday, we will be resuming with our usual Bhagavad Gita lectures. Okay, so thank you very much. We'll meet next week for the Yoga Sankirtan healing session. Then we will continue further. Hari Om.